Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome back to another video. Walker Venrick with Sharp Sports Network, bringing you my top 3 plays for this January 13th 7-game NBA slate. This is going to be a good one. We actually have quite a bit of injury news already out, so I'm going to be able to kind of give you guys a little bit of a more sturdy or guys I'm more confident in. We don't have to worry about, this guy being out, that guy being out. I feel like the last 2 videos I've done is kind of, we've had at least 1 or 2 plays where it's kind of contingent on injuries. So I think for this one, it's going to be a little bit more clean cut, which I do like, and I am glad that we can get this information early. So let's jump right into this one, though. If you have not already, please do leave a like on this video. We greatly appreciate your support, as always. And if you do have any questions, comments, or concerns for us, please leave them in the comment section below, whether it's DraftKings or FanDuel, any DFS sites or season-long fantasy questions. We're happy to give y'all advice when we can. Now, jumping into this one, the very first play I want to talk to you guys about is drastically underpriced and is on this page right here. Can you guess who it is? It is the King, LeBron James. LeBron James has a 34% usage rate this season, and he should see his normal mid-30s in minutes. I would think probably closer to 34, 35 in this matchup. This is obviously one of the more prominent, revenge narratives. It's not that he's mad at Cleveland, so I guess it's not really a revenge narrative per se, but it's definitely a meaningful game to see LeBron play Cleveland, and it always will be. This is by no means contingent on Anthony Davis's status. I do expect LeBron to play. I know he's listed as probable. I think he'll end up playing. If Anthony Davis misses this game, LeBron's going to be higher owned than he will if AD plays. But either way, he still should garner quite a bit of significant ownership, considering that he is only 9.5K, which is it's just a misprice. There's no reason in the world that he should be 9,500. I don't know if he's been this cheap all season long, and he draws a fantastic matchup here against Cleveland. Not only is he playing his former team, but he's playing the team that allows the second most fantasy points per game on average to opposing point guards. He's only 9.5K. There are so many factors and variables that I could talk about that just make LeBron a great play here in this spot. If Rajon Rondo misses, LeBron's going to see probably every single one of his minutes at the 1. If Rondo plays, they do put him at the 3 occasionally. But he should be facilitating this offense tonight, and I absolutely love him in this spot. He's a little bit more fairly priced over on FanDuel at 10.7K, but that is still a fine price tag for me. This is a smash spot for King James, and I really want to play him in all formats tonight. But let's jump over to FanDuel. Let's talk about my second favorite play today. I guess they're not really in order, but my second play for the day is going to be Enes Kanter. I absolutely love this spot for Enes Kanter, and this is kind of something I was going to talk about Enes Kanter already. He was already in the plans to be spoken about, and we already have the news now. Daniel Theis is going to miss this game. They essentially split minutes. I'll just show you over on DraftKings. We'll pull them up side by side. Daniel Theis and Enes Kanter are essentially splitting minutes for the most part. So like the New Orleans game, he had 15. Philly, he had 27. The New Orleans game, he had 23. The Philly game, he had 17. So they're essentially, like I said, just splitting these minutes. They're not really on the court together very often, if ever, unless they're playing a team that's really, really big. But now that Daniel Theis has been ruled out, I expect Enes Kanter to soak up a ton of those minutes that he would normally be splitting. Grant Williams is going to see those backup minutes when Enes Kanter's not on the court, I would definitely assume here, which makes him a little bit interesting as he's min-price on both sites. But that's more of a GPP sort of a value play. But Enes Kanter, though, at 5,100 over here, and on DraftKings, I believe he's 5.6K. 5.4K on DraftKings. I just love him. This is an amazing price tag, and he draws a fantastic matchup. Like I said, the backup minutes will go to Grant Williams, but I don't expect that to be super significant, and it shouldn't really take away from Kanter. If anything, he should, like I said, soak up those minutes from Daniel Theis. He's actually averaging over 1.52, just over 1.52 fantasy points per minute over the last 10-game stint. He's playing a Chicago team that allows the second most fantasy points per game on average to opposing centers. This is an absolute smash spot. We do have news already that Daniel Gafford will be starting, so they will have a little bit of size in that front court in Chicago, but that does not deter me at all away from Enes Kanter. This is a smash spot, and I think he's going to see upwards of 26, 27 minutes, hopefully more tonight, and it just seems like I can't get away from Enes Kanter at this price tag with how efficient he's been. There's no reason to even want to get away from him. And then the next play I have for you guys, the last one that I want to talk to you guys about, is Danilo Gallinari for this Oklahoma City Thunder team. This is a really interesting spot for Gallinari, who has a 23% usage rate on the season and should see about 33 minutes tonight, I would think, which is going to be the most he's seen since he returned from his injury. He's seen low 30s, high 20s since he's returned. I think he's going to see closer to 33 tonight, one of these 32, 33-minute games. It's going to be a competitive matchup against the Wolves as well. The Thunder are 2.5-point favorites currently, and I should mention that all the implied game totals are roughly around 217 to 220 tonight, with the Pistons and Pelicans game being the outlier at like 227.5 currently, or something around there, 226.5 maybe. But Danilo Gallinari, he's been back from his absence for 6 games now, and over the last 5, he's averaged over 1.15 fantasy points per minute. He has been very efficient, and he should really thrive in this matchup here against this Wolves team. Cat has already been ruled out, which is good. We already have that news. So I'm pretty positive Danilo Gallinari is going to start at the 4. They'll probably start Ferguson at the 5. SGA at the 2. Obviously, Chris Paul the 1 and Adams at the 5. With Terrence Ferguson at small forward, it's definitely statistically a good spot for Terrence Ferguson. I've mentioned this in a few videos now. The Wolves give up the second most fantasy points on average per game to opposing small forwards. That does not mean that I love Terrence Ferguson here. Danilo Gallinari, like I said, will likely play at the 4, but the way Danilo Gallinari plays is similar to a small forward. It kind of reminds me of Rashard Lewis from the 09 Magic. He's a very perimeter guy. Danilo Gallinari is a great shooter. He's very efficient from the perimeter, but anything beyond the arc. If you just look at his game log, you can see how many attempts he's taken from three-point land. That's something that should be very successful for him here in this fast-paced game against the 4th fastest team in the league, I believe Minnesota is currently, and he should really just be thriving here. I'm not looking to jam in Terrence Ferguson just because Minnesota's poor against opposing small forwards, and that's where Ferguson is. That's not how this works. Danilo Gallinari is the play. I like a lot of these Thunder guys in this spot. I think they're a little bit more contrarian too. They're not going to garner a ton of ownership. Gallinari probably less than Chris Paul, and maybe even less than guys like Dennis Schroeder. But I think Danilo Gallinari is going to go very, very overlooked tonight at 6.4K. I already told you he averages 1.15 fantasy points per minute. If he sees 32 minutes tonight, he already is going to hit 5X if you just average it out. That's not what we're relying on. We want him to do better than that. I think this could be a 40-plus fantasy point game for him here. He should absolutely smash. And like I said, with how efficient he is from beyond the arc, it just doesn't seem like it's too out of the reach for him to if he makes his 3-pointers tonight. I'm talking like 50%, like he did there against Houston. If he can make 4 or 5 tonight, I don't think it's out of reach for him to have a ceiling game here, kind of like he did against Houston. More of a 50 fantasy point sort of a game. He's not going to have an issue crushing his price tag tonight and exceeding his already efficient fantasy point per minute rate. So I absolutely love Danilo Gallinari tonight, and those are my top 3 plays. I hope you guys did enjoy this video. Thank you guys so much for your support. I'm going to be live streaming on Twitch in about 3 hours, right around 4:30 Eastern. Make sure you come check that out. The link is in the description below, and if you can, great, I'll see you there. If not, I will see you with my video tomorrow, but good luck to everybody playing this slate tonight, and peace.